Hey, Screeners, how you doing? It's myself, the 1AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Lurot, throw it up, my bro, because we're back and we are too sweet as always.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are. Indeed we are. So, guys, we're going to kick it off in a mad way because yes, we are talking about the top 10 sporting movies where the hero or heroes lose. So we found that was an interesting topic, and we kick it off. And somehow, I'm not going to say that I don't think the hero lost in this story, otherwise I don't think it would be told right now. But a coincidental tangent, Nico, as a sporting story, he said he's going to share with me, and I said, no, let's share it with the screeners. So let's cut the normal crap of how you doing, mate, and run with it, bro.
Bro, so people who listen regularly know that I've got a background in fighting, right? Know that I've done my 10 years of Thai boxing, had my fights, fought all over Southeast Asia, blah, blah, blah. There's a kid who I'm training at the moment. I think I've told you about him, called Adam. Good kid. Like when I say kid, the guy's in his mid-20s, but by boxing standards, I call him, a kid because he's still relatively new.
And by our standards as well, he's still young.
Sadly, by my standards, I guess he's now a kid, isn't he?
Yeah, sadly.
And to think 24 was the age where I was tearing it up. Makes me so sad. So here's what happens, right? We meet 3 times a week to train because his aspiration is to go out next year to Thailand to train. And he's good. Like, this kid could make it. I've already called the gyms on his behalf. I've spoken to my old promoter. He's good. If he keeps applying himself, he'll be mustard. But anyway, we've normally we meet at about 3 p.m., right? 3 times a week. 2 of those days are during the weekend normally. But exceptionally, because Adam had some things to do with his work, we had to meet a bit later. So we met at 7 p.m. Now, the place where we go, I throw the name out because I love it. I've got nothing but good to say about it, is Willesden Sports Centre. Right? So this thing is huge. I think you may know. It's really big, like big. Put it this way: it was built as one of the bases for the England track and field team for the Olympics back in whenever it was, 2012.
Yeah.
So, this is a state-of-the-art facility that's just perchance become a recreational gym. But, the track and field is still there. They've got these 2. I mean, there's no other way of describing these buildings than hangars. They are enormous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, in one of these, one of the hangars has the swimming pool, and upstairs it's got like the cardio room, the combat room, the fucking weightlifting room. And the other hangar is kind of not derelict, but gets less attention on it. And that's why I like to train, because obviously he's paying me to do this. So I don't want to be in a gym and then them finding out that I'm being paid to do this, because they'll be like, well, you need to pay us and all that. So we're kind of finessing it a bit.
And he chooses to share it on a podcast with 31,000 followers.
But that's fine. That's cool. I trust the silver screen dudes.
I just hope one of them's not working it. That's probability. I'm not asking anyone to.
That's true, actually. If one of them's working there, hey, please don't. But so this other hangar, just to give you some scope, indoors has full cardio equipment, socially distanced, and behind that has 100-meter indoor track and field. This is all in one room. So this gives you some scope as to how fucking big this room is, yeah? Half of the room is a 100-meter track and field. So it's not only long, it's wide. It's really, really wide, yeah? So, and normally that track and field basically doesn't get used because everyone's on the outdoor track and field. And, no one wants to be spinning and rowing and hearing, what, the slapping of bags and of martial arts noises. So usually what I do is I take it right down to the other end of the room, up against the wall. Basically means we've got the whole track and field area to ourselves, essentially. But it also means that we're not disturbing the other punters in the gym, which is just a minimum amount of consideration because it gets quite loud when you're doing bag kicking. I like to be a nice guy and toot my own horn. And
you are. You are. Last time,
And look, the reality is that we got here, as I said, a bit later than we do normally. It was a 7 p.m. instead of a 3 p.m., so substantially later. And I see that the track and field's being used. Now, when I say being used, I don't mean that they're using it for its purpose. I mean they're using it like we are. There's some of the space being used, yeah? But it's those, it's power lifters. So, you know, the guys who like sort of grab the bars and then go up and down once, yeah? But they're doing absolute max weight that they can. So the way they've got it laid out is there's 4 mats with 4 track and field guys. I know these details are granular, but they are important just because to convey my point that's coming up. You got 4 mats and 4 mats opposite those 4 mats. Yeah, so 8 mats in total, 4 and 4 opposite each other. Even if all 4 mats were lined up, they don't make the full length of the track and field. They don't even make half of it. They don't even probably make a quarter of it. It's so big, this thing, right? These 4 mats are opposite each other. Of the 100-meter track and field, they're maybe, if I'm being generous, taking up 10 meters of it. Maybe.
Right. So a tenth.
Yeah, literally a tenth. So I say to Adam, you know, just again out of courtesy, I'm like, oh, when we're walking through these guys, watch out, you don't want to get in the way of their powerlifting and whatnot. You know, just we go to the end of the room where we normally are, and this big burly Nigerian motherfucker comes up to us. And I mean big guy. Guy like who you look at me go, he's a big motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
One of those guys who, you know, if you didn't know him and you ran into him in a dark alley, instantly you'd be like, whoa. Not because he's black, because he's big. Like house size big, NFL size big. I was like, oh, you a big dude, huh? They feed you chicken. You have good genes. that's kind of what was in my head as he was walking over to us. And of course, but the Nigerian accent only just came through, in fairness. I could only hear it on a few words, but it gave it away. I don't even know why I brought in the fact that he's Nigerian. It came out that way. Forgive me.
Listen, it's descriptive.
And instantly he's hostile with us. Out of nowhere. We haven't even said hello at this point, bear in mind. He's like, oi, lads, can you fuck off? We've rented this area out. Huh. So you just told me to fuck off without even introducing yourself, explaining what the situation is. I've not reacted. That's because I'm a fucking daddy-to-be and I've got all my fucking testosterone down on its lowest form and I'm trying to keep calm and all the time, right? So I haven't got angry and gotten into a fight for a very long time now. But this guy has told me in front of my student to fuck off for no reason. And I don't mean like, oh, like fuck off. I mean like aggressively, like fuck off type thing, yeah? You know, it's all about tone. This was an aggressive tone. And I've looked at him and I've gone, whoa, mate, time out here. What's happening here? There's no need to speak to us that way. And what do you mean we need to fuck off? You've rented the area. You're not using this area. He's like, we've rented the whole track and field. I'm like, big man, yeah, you're using 10 meters of the 100-meter track and field. And I'm like, you're not being serious right now, right? Like, this is banter. And he's like, no, we rented the area. Our liability doesn't cover you. Your liability doesn't cover us to be on an area you rented to do something that we have nothing to do with. Not surprised. I don't imagine under powerlifting there's Muay Thai covered as a liability. But we wouldn't fall under your liability. We would fall under the gym's liability. Why are we doing this, mate? Why don't you just do your thing 100 meters away from us and I'll do my thing here?
I'm on the same page as you for now.
You know what I mean? So he wouldn't let it go. And he started grabbing our bags. And I was like, whoa. I gave him a gentle little slap on the hands. Like, hey, you know, put my bag down. Because he was trying to physically move us. I was like, well, that's not happening. I don't give a fuck how big you are. I was taught one thing in Thai boxing. Bigger they come, the harder they fall. I don't give a fuck how big you are. If we're going to throw, we're going to throw. Yeah? Don't touch my stuff. Then he got really aggressive with me. And he was like, you do not touch me. That's when the Nigerian came out. And I was like, bro, in the nicest possible way, a la Iron Man, don't touch my stuff. Went full on nerd with him.
Why not?
So I said to Adam, "Don't move. I'm going to go and talk to reception." Right?
Well,
I was like, we can either fight here in front of everyone, which isn't going to look good for you and probably won't look good for me because I've been preaching to my student, don't fight unless you're in the ring, right? Kind of make me look like a hypocrite now. So I was like, let's take the edge out of this. Let me go talk to reception. So I go and talk to reception, right? Leave Adam in the room, just skipping rope. And they've basically said that, yeah, he has rented the room out. And I'm like, but you do appreciate that it's 100-meter space and he's using 10 meters of it and we're not in his way. Like, I appreciate if we were doing kicks and fucking spinning elbows within 20 meters of his powerlifting, there'd be a danger. We are literally measurably 90 meters away from him. There's no need for him to be arsey. At minimum, I want an apology from the guy. At best, you should be allowing us in there. So, what's happening here? They said, look, he's getting out at 8:30. We'll have a chat with him because you're not the first person who's complained about him. I'm like, well, fucking surprised. The guy's an asshole. He's a really aggressive, unnecessarily aggressive asshole. So I'm like, look, fuck it. Half an hour, I can kill, whatever. So I say to Adam, like, when I go back in, I'm like, let's just go in the corner. We'll skip rope. We'll do some plank challenges. We'll do some speed drills. We can kill half an hour easily. But on matter of principle, because man said fuck off to me, and because I didn't throw at him, I need to throw something at him, right? So at 8:30.1, I'm walking back on there.
Yeah.
0.1. At 8:30 and 1 second, I am walking back on there. And that's exactly what we do. And he sort of comes up with his chest out, fucking peacocking to us, trying to cut us off. And he said, did we not have this chat already? Like, it was really weird. The Nigerian would come out on like some words, but not on others. Yeah. He's like, did we not have this chat already? I'm like, we didn't have any chat, mate. You told me that you've rented the area out, and I've checked with reception. You're spot on, and it's until 8:30. And he said, and what is the time now? I said, it's 8:30.15. Get the fuck out, like you told me. And he just sort of looked at me like this look of shock. Like, I think there was almost some racial connotation to it because big, scary black guy, probably not used to seeing much slenderer than he is, long-haired, posh white boy giving him aggro. He's probably not used to it.
He's probably not being used to challenge at all with that kind of size that you're talking.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin will add to it, but yeah, he's just used to getting his own way. And as you said, the peacock chest will tend to put a few people about a couple of paces back. Yet you kept walking towards him. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, it really would. And I am not gonna lie, there was a huge part of me that was like, if this guy hit me, this would fucking hurt. But I was like, if we do get into a fight, I'm faster than he is, so we're good. Kick him in the knee, take him out. Good old front teep to the side of the knee, pop the knee out the bag. Any guy will drop then.
Okay, not that we're advocating violence on the Movie Mount Rushmore, but yes.
No, absolutely not. But I'm just saying, my whole plan, given how aggressive this guy was to me, I was like, I already had my moves fucking lined up.
Sherlock Holmes, where you visualize the fight before it happens, kind of freeze frame and
little bit. I was like, he's just gonna go for my head, and I pop the knee out. It's very easy to pop someone's knee out if all their weight is on the front foot. So I basically said to him, get the fuck out. He walked off in a strop and came back with like the head of reception. And I was like, this fucking guy, are we really doing this? Anyway, the receptionist comes back to me and he says the whole, they rented the area out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, mate, there are two ways we can go down this conversation. And while I'm talking to the receptionist, this guy says, he walks past and goes, he claps at me and goes, oi, mate, you're a fucking knob, you are. And I'm like, you're the knob, mate. And the only reason you're calling me a knob is because you've got a fucking wall in front of you here called reception. You didn't speak to me like that before, did you? And he went, again, I just think the shock that he had of a guy answering him was on another level. And the receptionist then has the full-on conversation of, oh yeah, but they've rented the area. I'm like, okay, mate. Irrespective of the fact that we're not being human here, he's rented out 100-meter area and using 10 meters of it. I appreciate he has that right. I can't argue that. He's rented out the area. He has that right. I appreciate, and I said this loud enough, I appreciate he's compensating for clearly a very small cock, because otherwise he wouldn't have this attitude. Then he looked over, right? I was like, he's clearly compensating, because otherwise 90 meters wouldn't be that important to him, right? Clearly, it's fucking, it's world altering to him. But you know what? That was the conversation we were having 15 minutes ago. By this stage, it had got to 15 minutes. I was like, none of that matters anymore. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, it's really simple. What time does he finish training? 8:30. What's the time now?
8:45.
8:45. I'm like, cool. So actually what's happening here is he's in my way. He doesn't have rights to this area anymore. And he's eating into my time. We are recording. He's eating into my time.
Yeah. So
there's no fucking way around ready to argue this. And the receptionist was like, oh my fucking God, can you call my one, please? Sorry. The receptionist was like, yeah, but in future, I'm like, fuck future. Future, I'm not going to come here at 7:00. In future, maybe tell this guy to not fucking scream and say fuck off to people without even introducing himself and explaining the situation like an arrogant cunt. Right? Now, and while the guy was taking all his stuff down 15 minutes too late, as we've just established, I said to Adam, let's put a bit of fear into this guy. Because we've got a bit of, because I was like, he's the sort of knob who's going to fucking wait an hour for us to finish and then have a go at us outside. I'm like, je connais. I know this type of person. I said, let's put some fear into him and really make him think about this. And there's a drill you do in Muay Thai, which is called strong step. A bit like it's where strong style gets its name from. It's not focused on speed. It's focused on 100% maximum velocity. So you wait between blows, but when you hit full fucking power. And it's to scare. It's literally there to put fear into other people. And I said, I want you screaming, top of your lungs, hey! As you're hitting the pads. And between each one, we're going to look over at him. And we eye-fucked him and he left. But he was waiting for us. Predictable as a fucking sunrise. Why are there people in the world like this? 10 meters to 90 meters. Why are there people in the world like this?
Listen, I'm not going to throw any company under the bus. What they probably should have done to avoid this from the very beginning is probably a sign on the door that says area reserved, right? That eliminates him doing anything because I agree. 10 meters, you don't need the whole room. Maybe that's the way they sell it. And if you've got it, you've got it. I mean, it's RC, it's unreal, but it's true. Like,
yeah. It's completely RC and unreal.
But on the other side, it's just common courtesy, people. Like, sorry, mate. By the way, got the whole area. Even in that situation, be like, okay, do you mind if I just use this corner? Look, sorry, I've got it.
Should have gone.
That's the thing. But oi, fuck off. Even I would have been like, big man, listen. As you said, bigger you are, harder you fall. Listen, I've never done no pro fighting. But I guarantee you there's a way that I'll be like, Ross, listen, I respect that you got the whole thing, but at the end of the day, I'm still a man. Like, talk to me like one. What the fuck? Yeah. I ain't having no one talk to me that way. It's standard. You will bring out something that you don't want to bring out of me. I don't care how big you are.
Yeah, that's literally it, man.
That's just law. That is just law.
But I'm almost happy it happened because I was preaching to Adam. I said, listen, in the martial arts world, there's the type of people who are like George St. Pierre and Khabib, who are real martial artists. You are going to meet your Conor McGregorites. You are going to meet people who have got massive chips on their shoulders, who have got to prove to other people instead of proving something to themselves athletically and spiritually, which is what martial arts is about. They need to prove something to other people. I said, you are going to run into those people. And I was happy this happened. I was like, here you go. Big, small peepee man who wants to fucking have a go and be the hard on in front of his, it's powerlifters. Oh, you got some big muscles there. Oh, you're a real hard man. You are. Fuck me.
It might have been a mini case of roid rage as well.
But it's possible. It's possible. But again, I've seen all that too. I've been surrounded by that most of my adult life. The people who are doing martial arts on roids. I've seen it left, right, and center. They never make good fighters. They win one or two because they hit like fucking freight trains. There's no taking that away from them. They don't make good fighters long term.
No. There's something about size that I've always learned. You take a specimen like Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley, you kind of take back what you're saying, but short of very good conditioning, like I've heard it, these guys get tested. It just doesn't work out. It doesn't work in your favor. You could probably withstand maybe a bit more, but a draw is a draw. Catch it in the right place, he will drop. But anyway.
You've also got the danger of when you get that big on juice of ending up against someone that big who's natural.
Well, this is it.
Then you're fucked. Like a front. Yeah. I know you don't watch the UFC, but a name you do need to get familiar with is this big African guy called Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Bro, this guy's terrifying. This guy is terrifying. He reminds me of Tyson back in his day. Like, he's got this... You can tell, like, man has been through some shit to get to where he is.
I hate you.
You know, like, some serious shit. And he's got that absolute killer instinct in his eye. Like, I don't care if I was that size. I wouldn't get in the ring with him. Fuck that. Fuck that. There are some people who are fighting, and you can tell it's to fight. There are some people who have treated fighting as a way to stay alive. Ngannou is like that. He fights to stay alive. And by that proxy, it means he goes in that much harder on the other person. He's like, nope. I don't fight. Take the belt. I'll be number 2. You can be the champ.
I hear that. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. Well done for keeping a cool head. It
was hard.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. As I said, listen, I'm not one for fighting, but there's a way of big man. You want me out. You want me out. That's fine. Like, I have no problem being out. But
why must you speak to another human being that way?
It's just
and then why do you have to be so petty about two guys being in an area that is, and this isn't an assumption, you could measure it on the track, literally 90 meters away from you.
Bro, like, it's one of those things again. I get it, but I get your right. I get the rights that you pay for it. I get it. It makes no logical sense. I don't know what you were doing after, what you plan to do in your exercises is not even my thing to question. It's just a basic respect, you know, whether you wanted it, as you said, just to compensate for anything else and flash your cash, whether it's because the gym, and I'm not putting any gym under the bus, are being RC and will only sell you the entire room. You're like, you know what? Then I will use the entire room because I only wanted a quarter. I tried to negotiate. You don't want to do it? Then screw you. Your patrons will pay the price for me having to pay the price. I get all of that. There are 1,000,001 reasons as to why you could possibly be in that attitude. However, the simple words of, excuse me, it's exclusive today, lads. I'll be finished at 8:30. It's a lot easier than fuck off and picking up my bags. No, you know. Hopefully you're listening, my friend, because that was Diplomacy 101. It's just the simple, basic rules of life. Like, because what you will find is, with that same similar attitude, you won't get it hired out to you again because you're causing a stir to people. There are many reasons behind it. And as you also said, you don't know who you run into. Just because I'm flipping smaller than you don't mean I can't cut you down to size.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I said at the end. I was like, for sure, he had such a point to prove, AJ. It was like, oh, he was shamed by the little skinny, well, not skinny anymore, but smaller than him white man who is like, I don't even know why I'm bringing race into it, but he had that kind of racial chip on his shoulder.
You know people who you quote it because you see it. It's real.
Yeah.
There are sometimes you can't bring it. You can't avoid it. Like,
I literally I'm going to cut white boy down to size. And I was like, you're not though, mate. Wrong white boy.
Come on, people. We're all from the same planet. Just
We are.
respect each other as a fellow human being.
Yeah. To be honest, I came home, told this story to Anya, and she's like, I'm surprised you didn't fuck him up. 10 years ago, you would have fucked him up. I'm like, I know, right? Fucking hell, I've got soft.
Do you know, listen, I always say, I mean, I remember certain things, but do you know what I think it happens as well? We get to that point where it's like, yeah, there's a certain discipline. There's another side. It's like, it's just not worth it. Like, you know, to quote Star Wars, it's taking that higher ground of, I could go there. And trust me, there's a part of me that really, really wants to, but you're not even worth it. You're legit not worth it. You are the biggest waste of my time. Just to prove this point to you just doesn't, like, me telling you I could prove a point right now feels a lot better than actually proving the point. If you really want to draw me out and I really have to prove this point, trust me, we could go there. But just take my advice. Just calm the fuck down. I get you. It's sad but real.
Well, 25 minutes in, should we now talk about movies?
Well, yeah. So that was the sporting element side of it. Yeah, do you know what? Go for it. I'll allow you to continue even more. For those who haven't heard the movie Mount Rushmore for the first time, would you like to tell them what it's all about?
Thank you so much for joining us. If you are new to the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast, please be sure to follow us on all podcast platforms. We are available on iOS and Android, and of course, everyone's favorite, Spotify. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please give the video a like, thumbs up, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested in two idiots talking about movies and gym incidents.
Other related incidents.
But how does the Movie Mount Rushmore actually work? AJ and I each get assigned a topic. It is a fan selection this week, so shout out to at Murray Maker, Murray as in Andy Murray. So shout out to them. And how does the Movie Mount Rushmore actually work? AJ and I each get assigned a topic. We go our separate ways. We come right back here and record and deliver to you, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week, AJ?
You will go first.
This week, I will go first, delivering my bottom three. AJ will deliver his bottom three. I will deliver my next two. AJ will deliver his next two. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure I went first last week.
With Louis?
I'm pretty sure.
I
feel like it's you.
Cool. It's me.
Okay, we flipped the script. I like it. Once we both get to our top fives, we will trade one apiece. If at any time a person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say...
excuse me, visuals, punt.
And we will punt and get to the high and talk about the movie when we get to the high position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10s, we will create the Movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre, which this week is...
the top 10 sporting movies where the hero/heroes lose. Okay, right, in at number 10, I swear to you, for 3 seasons, this guy has never been brought up. Yet season 4, he always seems to just pop up for me.
Oh, it's got to be Kevin Costner. It's got to be Kevin Costner. Yeah.
No, it's Kevin Costner and Rene Russo in Tin Cup. Do you know the funny thing about Tin Cup? There's a line of a riddle, not a map riddle, a riddle, that came up about a man and his son are in a car. They have an accident, and an ambulance comes through. As the kid gets to the father and son get taken to 2 different hospitals, and as they're about to operate on the kid, the doctor says, "I can't operate on this kid." They say, "Why not?" And they said, "He is my son." Yeah, and they say, "Why?" And what does the doctor reply? "He's my son." How is that possible?
I can't operate on this man. He's my son.
The doctor says, "I can't operate on this boy. He's my son."
Doctor slept with his mother? Why is this a big thing?
No, the doctor's a woman. Simple as.
Oh.
Yeah, there you are. So I remember hearing this in a film years ago. Yeah, I could never remember what film it was. Rene Russo gives a perfect breakdown of how the mind is conditioned to automatically think a doctor is a man and all this. It's a great analogy. It's at the very beginning of the film.
Well, it fucking just did it to me. It just happened to me. There's proof.
There you go. Like it's just weird, but it's this inbuilt sexism that we have. But like
Completely.
yeah. And I always remember it. I was like, where the frick? What film was this? But I've always remembered that riddle because I always like how it blew me away as a kid. Coincidentally, I started this film and I was like, oh fuck, they used it in this film too. Then I saw Rene Russo. I was like, oh shit, it was this film. But I've never seen like the actual end of this movie. It's cheesy as hell. It's Kevin Costner as hell. It's okay. So basically, he is at college level, he was an absolutely amazing golf pro. Well, golf pro in the making, if you would. You know, he could shoot. I'm not going to use the terms, but he could use the wrong club and get it into a hole. He could do all these amazing tricks. But he's now out of his luck. He does it more for bets than anything else. You know, enjoys a good drink at 11 in the morning. You kind of picture the down and out kind of character he's become. And he meets Don Johnson along the way, who then encourages him to be his caddy. There we go. Yeah. And Don Johnson happens to be dating Rene Russo in the beginning of this film. And he wants Kevin Costner's character to be his caddy. And he misses one shot. Someone then who's in the crowd bets to see, I bet your caddy could shoot this. And then the whole hype comes in. And now he's into a tournament. And as you can see by the picture, he's spellbound by Rene Russo. He eventually hooks up. You can see where it's going. But at one point, when he's more actually cares about a woman instead of being the womanizing alcoholic that he is, his shots start to go off course, and then she has to make him become a bit of a dog again. It's this weirdness, and it's this whole build up to him winning.
He can't be a good golfer without being fucking a flawed human being. Oh, kill me!
Here we go. Exactly.
Kill me.
Dare I say, it was interesting. It was an interesting spin to see a loss at the end. It felt 90s as hell, and I was like, yeah. You know what? More for the analogy of the beginning of the film than anything else. A couple of yucks, and I'm talking very. But hey, the sporting hero lost. That's why it's here. That's why it's here. So interested, and Kevin Costner's reign continues in 2021. So that was that.
Up next, The Bodyguard.
He lost the woman in that. There we go. Waterworld, he lost Earth. There we go. 3 Kevin Costners in one.
Hey, hang on. Let's bring it together now and let me test your movie knowledge. We've just talked Bodyguard, where he loses the woman and there's the word guard.
Tin Cup.
No. You've just talked about Water World, where he loses something and it's
World
in
Cup.
water. Now, can you name me the movie, which is kind of somewhere in between Bodyguard and Water World, that Kevin Costner was in with Ashton Kutcher? Can he do it?
Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And something's going to happen. I'm going to go, oh shit, yeah, of course. Ashton and Kevin.
Bodyguard happens in water. It's literally the title. I'm giving it to you here. Come on.
Oh, hit me. I can't think of it.
The Lifeguard.
Do you know the whole time I'm like, hey, what? I've never heard of the Lifeguard. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, fair enough. And what is this? Is this a comedy?
Quite good. It's actually quite good. And what does Kevin Costner lose in this? Spoiler alert, his life, motherfucker.
The man who keeps on losing. Ah, damn.
Aye.
We love you, Kev. We love you.
And what did he lose in Robin Hood? His British accent.
Hey, the White Cliffs of Dover. Why do I keep making him sound Irish? But maybe it was. It just wasn't English.
You know what? You put an Irish person and an American in a room together, eventually they start sounding very fucking similar.
This is true. This is true. But yeah. Oh, good old Kev. Good old Kev. Right. In at number 9. We're going to take it a bit more serious. Well, are we? Tom Hanks is in it, put it that way. I'm talking A League of Their Own.
Do you know I've never seen this? And it got brought up a lot on the Twitter question. A lot of people brought this up.
I'll be honest, if I had seen it more recently, like Tin Cup, I found it and I went to look for it. League of Their Own, I haven't had the chance to watch it. I saw it ages ago. It may have been higher. It's a very interesting concept because it's the female baseball league kicking off during World War II. So it's actually because baseball was on its way out. Like the industry could have like collapsed, obviously, with most of the men, if not all of the men, at war. Those who were old enough to be able to go to war were conscripted to war. So they decide to pique a bit of interest, and they kick off a baseball league. So you've got Gina Davis and this other lady,
Gina Davis, fucking hell,
Gina
we've just
Davis.
gone for wow.
From Kevin Costner to Gina Davis. Hey.
Jesus.
I need to get this lady's name up because it's gone blank. It's her name. I remember from Orange is the New Black. Actually,
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Let's go
No.
full. Let's do
Laurie
the full. I'm
Petty.
just guessing. Huh?
Listen, we've got Rosie O'Donnell and we've got Madonna. So yeah. If it wasn't for Tom Hanks, where would we be? But no, yeah. So they live in. Come again?
I'd say either Striptease Part 2 or the Flintstones. Somewhere in that big mess.
Yeah, there we go. But we've got so they live in. Gina Davis and Laurie Petty are two sisters who live in like middle America, and they're being convinced. Gina Davis is really good at baseball, but it's like she just wants to stay doing what she does on a farm, I believe, and just wait for her husband to come back. Laurie Petty isn't so good, but she dreams bigger. She dreams bigger. So Tom Hanks is so the whole issue behind it now is we'll take you with us as long as you can convince your sister to come along. And with that, the journey begins. That the two sisters go off and they take it to New York and they build this all-female team, and that's where they start to meet all these other ladies who are actually really good but stuck in jobs that they really don't want. Like one is I've never heard of this before. Have you ever heard of a taxi dancer?
No.
Yeah. So back in the day, you would have had a thing where you could pay a woman just to dance with you for one dance in a ballroom or what have you. So she's stuck in these dead end jobs. Literally nothing sexual, just pay for a dance. Like you go to a ballroom, you have a dance, and on to the next. There's all these like little jobs that they don't want to, and gradually this team of women who probably would never have met, never have got into anything, build this bond to build this baseball team. And Tom Hanks is their coach, and it all kicks off from there. And in the end, the two sisters actually split, and one joins another team. And there's a bit of beef. They reconcile, but sadly, the team, the Peaches, I believe they were called, end up taking the L. So it was quite sad, but it's not a bad film. It's not a bad film.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds like my cup of tea, actually. What is your number 8?
Right, this one we brought up before. I think it was during the top 10 Brad Pitt movies. I'm talking Moneyball.
That is a punt.
Okay, right, over to you, sir.
Over to me. Okie dokie. So, in at my number 10. This is an old movie that I actually had to go on Alarmy Stock to find a movie poster of that was the right size. So,
sometimes that's annoying. Yeah.
Forgive me for the image. It's available on Disney Plus, by the way, if you want to check it out.
Okay.
Mystery Alaska.
Interesting.
It's an ice hockey movie. And it's a really, really charming yet very, very silly ice hockey movie. Essentially, it's about this ice hockey team from a town called Mystery, which is in Alaska, as the title suggests. But they're pond hockey players. They've never played in big stadiums. They've never made it to the big leagues. But because this part of the world, Alaska, is literally frozen over 90% of the year, the people there literally live on ice skates.
On the ice, that's mad.
So I mean, their skating ability is on another fucking level. Despite the fact that they've never ever been seen by anyone on TV, their skating ability is on another level. But it's always so the way that the town works is that because they only play hockey with themselves, essentially, you have the team, and that team is then divided into two. And it's not like you've got a constant rivalry because the players just switch each season, right?
Yeah, it's just friendly banter, like you play football back at school kind of thing. It's
that type of thing. The only challenge is that when the guys start to get a bit older, then they need to make room for the newer guys coming through. So it does change up over the years, and that's kind of one of the cruxes of the story because this has a very, very young Russell Crowe in it as the titular character.
Jeez.
Yeah, Russell Crowe with hair like me, literally. Yeah. A proper 90s hair. It's great. But he's kind of being forced out the team because there's this new kid who's coming through. And there's this it's the story threads in this are very weak, like very, very weak. You can tell that they're just trying to put a bit of meat on the skeleton here. There's this story about one of the hockey players sleeping with one of. So you've got this board of members who decide who goes on the team and who doesn't. One of those board members has a wife. The wife sleeps with one of those hockey players, and you're meant to be emotionally involved with it, but you're not really. It's like, oh, this just kind of happened. Can we focus on the hockey? And you've got Hank Azaria in this as well. He's one of the few people who's left Mystery Alaska and made a name for himself. And he's kind of like a sports publicist. And this is where the interesting part comes in, because he organizes an exhibition game for Mystery Alaska to play New York, the Rangers. Big game. The big guys, right? The champs. And the movie culminates in the hockey. This goes without saying if you haven't figured this on this episode already, guys, but spoiler alerts are in warning here throughout the whole episode. Sorry if that wasn't clear, but it's clear now. And yeah, the Mystery Alaskans, the Alaskans give them a fucking run for their money. Like the first quarter, they're up 2-0. Yeah, it doesn't go so well. Obviously, the Rangers show their pedigree. But what's really beautiful is at the end, the Rangers come out on the ice and they all start tapping their hockey sticks as a kind of sign of respect for the Alaskans. So it's beautifully done. It's typical Disney sports movie. And it's a bit weak around the edges. There's some story threads there which are a bit okay, cool. You're there. I'm not invested in you, but you're there. Fine. Shows me that there's life beyond the ice. Cool. But yeah, fun movie. Number 10.
Cool. Interesting. I'll check it out.
Yeah, man, do. My number 9. This is a bit of a reach, this one, but I was struggling for other sports movies that I really enjoyed, and I'll explain. My number 9, starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton, is Warrior, MMA movie. Now, it's a reach, because ultimately it's a story of brotherly redemption, right? And that's where they get to at the end of the movie. But I'm speaking just from and this isn't me reaching to make my argument suit the narrative of what I'm trying to deliver here. I legitimately felt like this. Throughout the whole movie, I was team Tom Hardy.
You tend to be, yeah. Yeah, he's the nice guy. The other one's a traumatized prick, but prick nonetheless.
No, that's Tom Hardy. The one you just described.
Oh.
But what Tom Hardy does,
Tom
Hardy's the one who looks after the dad when the dad's going through alcohol. Tom Hardy's the one who you find out in that fantastic scene with the two of them on the beach the night before the fight, who stayed for the family when the other brother walked away. So although you're more drawn to Tom Hardy because he's a bad motherfucker in this movie anyway, story-wise, you kind of get why he's a mean motherfucker and why he's a bit antisocial. It's like, he's got some family and war trauma.
Yeah.
I've always tended to lean more in his direction anyway. And in the fight, it doesn't fuck redemption. He loses. I was like, well, that's not right. Look at the size of him. This is me fucking spending 25 minutes at the top of the episode on his size. Doesn't matter. But legitimately, Tom Hardy wasn't just big. Tom Hardy could throw in this movie. Like, he moved like a fucking fighter. He was amazing. And he lost. He fucking lost. I was like, surely Joel Edgerton should have lost. Why is Tom Hardy losing? Oh, because the jiu-jitsu guy beats the fighter. Fuck you.
On that film, it is a flick of a coin as to which way you decide to follow, and in that, another one. I mean, obviously, you are more Team Emma Stone in it, but like Battle of the Sexes, it does kind of show two sides, even though it does slightly more Emma Stone. You could have picked that, but yeah, I get what you're saying. So there are two sides to this story.
It's a reach because there's not a clear out and out loser as far as theme goes. But in terms of the fight, Hardy lost, and I was team Tom Hardy.
Well, there you go. That's where it comes to. Like, had there ever been a God, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave it there. I was going to say, had there ever been an Arsenal-Chelsea match, You know,
There was one yesterday.
One's the hero, one's the villain. So you know, in the story, we would have it on two opposite sides. It happens.
One's two-time European champion. Oi.
Okay, I mean, I could also take it to a AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura WrestleMania.
We don't do that.
Okay, well, we'll leave it. We move on. What's your number 8?
My next one, get ready to say punt because I know you're going to pump me here. Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, Creed.
Yeah, that's a punt. That is a punt.
Thought so. What's your number 7 then?
This one is also another one from that It's Been a While. I'm talking Kingpin.
Punt.
Okay, cool. Right, so then in at number 6, it probably will be a punt as well. Maybe it's just the way it goes. Eddie the Eagle.
Punt.
Fair enough. Over to you then. Oh, well, bloody hell. Technology's going a bit all over the place. There we are.
All right, so over to my number 7.
Hopefully I can return the favour to you.
You're going to punt me. I think we've both punted each other for the same reason on number 7, by the way. But yeah, my number 7, I think you finally got around to watching it. I've always had a weird fucking soft spot for this movie. Kirsten Dunst in Bring It On.
No, do you know what?
No, it's a punt. It's a punt.
It's a punt. There's a part of me that didn't want to punt it. That's the reason. That's why I'm like, ugh, no, go on. It's a punt.
We're gonna punt again. You're gonna punt my 7 and 6. Ready to hit? I know how near and dear this movie is to you. Samuel L. Jackson.
Stop it. Just keep quiet. Just keep
Coach
quiet.
Carter.
Stop it. That is an insult. That is an absolute insult. But yes, I return the favor. In
fairness, I could switch my 6 and 5 a bit. It depends on which day you catch me. But because 5, it's my first time viewing, it's fresher. I'm going to go 5. I'm going to go with my 5 is 5 and Coach Carter is 6.
Right. In at number 5, we punted earlier. Who knew I didn't actually need to say punt at the time because everything else got cancelled. I am talking Creed at number 5.
My number 8,
Michael B. Jordan. A fantastic movie to me. Where was it for you?
8.
Right. I could also understand that because there's a part of me that wanted to keep it low because it is a carbon copy of something else, which I'm sure we will both be bringing up a bit later on. And that is the only beef I have with this film. We are talking. It's so bait. It's so bait where we're going. We are talking Adonis Creed, son of Apollo Creed, who is being trained by a certain individual. And I can only leave it there because, let's be honest.
Well, he's in the fucking movie. He's trained by Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But it's the whole build up to him understanding the truth. Never knowing who his father was, but just living in the shadow of knowing what it was. And it's the whole build up to taking it professionally, finding the man who had a friendship with his father and the understanding, the discipline and the groundedness behind it. And, awesome movie, but carbon copy of something else.
Carbon copy, but you know what? Stallone got his Best Supporting Actor nomination for this. So now we will always be able to say Sylvester Stallone is an Oscar-nominated actor. How mad is that?
This is true. But he delivers. He does deliver.
He does.
The acting is freaking stellar in this film. There's one thing you have to give it, and it's that,
It does. I'm always going to lean Team Arnie, but you have to say objectively, Stallone's the better actor.
And you are going to get more diversity out of Stallone, but I'm not going to say Arnie was a fame dog. I'm not going to say that, but he knew his lane.
Arnie was the John Cena and The Rock of his generation. It's like you knew what you were getting with him. You knew it was going to be balls to the wall cheesy action, and you knew you were going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Whereas Stallone has this passion for acting. It's an actual passion for acting, and that's why he will diversify that bit more. I'm not saying Arnie hasn't. Don't get me wrong. Arnie's tried to do comedy. They both have, but Stallone will try and do a drama. Like he tries to take it that bit deeper. Like for God's sake, he brought something in Rocky. Like not in Creed. Like he made something deeper out of Rocky than he could have been. He could have just been like, just punch the glove, kid. Punch the bag. It was not. He gave depth so much so that the Academy Award they recognized him. The Oscars said, "There you go." So no, I get it. And Sly has been busy in the world of you know, Hollywood. I have to give it to him. Like the directing, everything. He's really even down to the I was going to call them Invincibles. Expendables. Like he's really tried to keep that craft and that. There's a lot of respect. I've got a lot of respect for what Sly's been up to.
There's still a part of me that would like to see a fourth Expendables, you know?
Well, it was meant to be. There was that and the Expendables. Do you remember that was meant to be something? And
that I've got no time for. That just feels like cheap meandering. It's like, no.
If you get the right cast, it's okay.
It's so obvious who you're. Well, I suppose you could say that for the men too, but no, fuck it. I'm a hypocrite if I don't get on board with it. Fuck it. Give me the Expendables. Yes. Fine.
Yeah, it's one of those. Let's be honest. But the thing is, you know, Sly will still be behind it, as a director and producer, so you know it will still have the same level of madness, you know. And that's where you'd be like, you know what, this actually was better than I thought. Like it's the same thing as when you first had the Expendables. We're like, oh my god, they're all together, but my god, what the fuck's gonna go on? But it was awesome, crazy awesomeness. It's not great, it's just crazy awesomeness, and I think they could have delivered. So hey.
I just wish they hadn't gone PG-13 with the Expendables 3. That was such a mistake.
Stupid. The Expendables.
Oh, but the kids need to see the action stars. Really? Are you gonna show Terminator and Predator and all that to kids? Don't think so.
This is the problem.
Therefore, they don't have that connection with these actors. Adults do.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's like, this is, in a nutshell, it's that. If they were able to sneak in and watch Terminator, they were able to sneak in and watch Expendables. Like, why do they have to see the third? So, because they saw 1 and 2. So then shut up and let it be. Like, it is what it is. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We were talking Creed. And yeah, that's the reason. You can't go too deep into it. It's a continuation of a story, but also felt like history literally repeating itself. So that was my number 5. Over to you, sir.
Over to me, eh? Where is my number 5? Actually, I've just lost it. Okay, so my number 5 was the one that literally this morning just took the place of Coach Carter, and it's a new one. Sorry, it's not a new one. It's a new one for the Silver Screen dudes, but it goes back to the mid 70s. The Bad News Bears.
I heard about this. I actually wanted to see it. I'm not gonna lie. Good old Walter Matthau. Yeah.
It's good, bro. It's really good. Like, again, it's a baseball movie, of which there seems to be a lot of in America.
Yes.
Considering it's not the biggest sport, I'm surprised how many sporting movies revolve around actual baseball in America, you know?
This is true.
I like to see more NFL stories, more NBA stories.
Never saying that, though. You know, there was like we had your Alaska film, and then there was the whole Mighty Ducks trilogy. Like, there's quite a bit of hockey, and then there was Sean William Scott's movie, and hockey's not nowhere near like their biggest sport either. Freaking huge in Canada, but yeah. Well,
that's true. But I don't know. And you know what I found weird on this list? I didn't really see any, other than one which we punted on for me. We didn't really have any British sports movies.
Yeah.
Which disappointed me too. I'm like, why the fuck are all the like really dramatic sports movies American? I mean, I've got no issue with them being American, but I would have liked to see some diversity in there.
Do you know what? I think it sounds so fucking bad to say this. I think we need to like win something first, and then we can then bring up our losses. Like,
well, no, the argument would be is that we've lost so fucking much. There should be a plethora of choice.
That's it. So I think once we can celebrate, we could be like, you know, at the end of the film when you get those credits. 10 years later, the England football team went on to win the Euros. But for now, it's like we've gone from 30 years of hurt to 50 years of hurt to 52 years. Like, okay, we're just going to keep quiet now. 66 was a long time ago.
Yeah. 66 was indeed a fucking long time ago. Long time ago.
Indeed.
Still waiting for it to come home, aren't we? Racism came home though. That was
Well, that's the thing. Like, this is, to me, I feel like that it's weird, but it would be. I could see a film where it would start with the loss, and the journey that happened into building a New England. It's weird. I don't think we'll ever get the ending of it. But who knows? But it would be the change around of football. Anyway, we digress. Yeah, Bad News Bears, please, because this actually did look like an interesting film.
Yeah, do you know what? It's aged horribly because the amount of the K word for Jewish people, the amount of N bombs for the black people, and it's like the racism, and this isn't coming out of the adult mouths, it's the kids saying this shit, and it's like, we've got K's and N's on our team. What the hell is this world coming to? Like, what did he just say? And it's not just a one-time thing. It happens again and again and again and again. It's like, yo. It's 1970. It's not 1940, yeah? What are we doing?
Yeah.
I know it's still bad then, but whoa.
Good question. Is it 70s based in 70s or 70s based in, like, set, it should I say, in 40s? Like, not that it excuses it, but...
So it was filmed in 1976.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it's set in 1976 as well.
I believe so. Yeah, I can't remember the specific year they gave, but I believe so. Yeah.
No. I'm just not that it made it excusable, but in a time when this would have been the language they used. That's all I'm asking.
But it's really good. It's a story of this washed-up baseball player who could have been great, but never quite made it. He's an alcoholic, and he's become a coach of like a Pee-wee League team. And he's got a complete mismatch of untalented, unathletic, unsportsman kids who he has to somehow bring together. And as with all these sporting movies, they do come together and then they stumble at the final hurdle. But their reason for stumbling is really, really good. He says because of the coach makes it so that all players get a chance to play. So it's the final game for them. And they're like, you know what? These kids haven't even had a shot at it yet this season. And they're all like, oh, but they're not as good as us. It doesn't matter. They haven't played yet. So he actually lets the kids who are less talented get on the field.
I like that.
They don't perform as expected.
It's empowerment.
They get their moment.
Yeah. I like that.
It's good. It's really, really sweet.
Nice.
So yeah, Bad News Bears was my number 5. What's your 4?
Okay. It's either in the same position or it's a punt. There's no way, well, unless you forgot it. I'm talking good old Cool Runnings, man.
Nah, that's a small punt.
Okay, cool. Fair play. Over to you. Your number 4.
My number 4 was the punt from earlier, Eddie the Eagle.
Do you know why I laugh? It's that
same.
Olympics. We've always spoken about so many times. What the hell was it with corrupted people just before that? Yeah. Mate,
I love this film, man.
It's awesome. I see you have a love for people with the surname Edgerton in your top 10 this week.
Different spelling, but yes.
Yeah, but hey, I'm different, same pronunciation. Yeah. No, absolutely awesome film. It's one of those films. It's just heartwarming.
It is.
And Eddie himself, especially when it's me and biopics, this one thing it's always going to touch the heart. And when you see an underdog biopic, it's just a thing of beauty. It's just a thing of beauty, and there's nothing dislikable about Eddie the Eagle, the actual man, and Taron Egerton just playing him as well. It's golden. And you got Hugh Jackman for the giggles, and a story as well.
Everything worked in this movie, and they never shy away from making it clear that Eddie is no athlete. But that's kind of what's wonderful about him, It's like he just doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to be in the Olympics. That's what's so heartwarming about this.
But do you know it's that thing of never give up on your dreams? Because you know what? Again, just like you said about Sylvester Stallone is an Oscar-nominated actor. Despite no matter where he ended, he's an Olympian.
Yeah.
Eddie the Eagle is an Olympian. How many of us can freaking say that?
Yeah. He didn't win anything, but he's an Olympian.
You qualified to the freaking Olympics.
Yeah.
Like that is huge.
Yeah.
That's freaking huge. And this is not the Brits waving our flag and saying, oh, no, this is half.
No. Let's also remember that he qualified because there was no ski jump team. He was the ski jump team.
This is also true, but he's still done it. I mean, hey, Cool Runnings is no different. It's what you have to do, and well done to these guys. So, no, big up Eddie, man. Beautiful story.
And he won the hearts of everyone. He won the hearts of his trainer Hugh Jackman, of the press. They were so much more interested in him being, the loser with a heart than the winners who were just like robotic. Top to bottom, I love this film. I really, really love this film. I can't fault it.
No. It's awesome. It is. It really is. Yeah. Not much more to say, really. If you haven't seen it, do check it out, guys. It's all kinds of awesome. So that was your number 4.
That was my number 4.
Okay. The other film that I spoke about, the carbon copy, here is the original. In at number 3 for me, I am talking Adrian Rocky.
Talking Punt.
Fair play. Over to you, sir. Your number 3.
Okay, so my number 3 was the punt from earlier as well. Brad Pitt in Moneyball.
Do you know my thing about Moneyball? I need to see it again properly. Like Moneyball, I was watching because we were ticking off not ticking off the boxes, but you tried to be as diverse as possible when it was the Brad Pitt movie. And I was just taking it in, but I didn't get a chance to say like, right, I am taking this in. The concept is freaking amazing. The fact that it's real life is even more, surprising. It's a great story, but I just need to. I think, especially as again talking baseball and how we're not au fait to it, I was a bit lost. It shouldn't be lost on that part, but I just needed to know more. I just thought, I need to take it in more. That's the only reason it was low for me, because there's stellar acting in this film.
It was, and I rewatched it for this top 10 list. And yeah, it's quite a work of art, mate. Brad Pitt as just as you've never seen him before. It's such a different role for him, and he embodies it, man. Jonah Hill is a phenom in this film. The late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, although the role is small, he is great in this film. And yeah, it's true story of how one man essentially rewrote the book on how to scout and transfer players to create an all-star winning baseball team. Did you notice that Chris Pratt was also in this?
Yes. I mean, I have to go back, but I do remember seeing him in it. Yeah.
It caught me off guard. I never clocked it the first time, and then this time I was like, "Oh, fuck me, Star-Lord." It's I love the way that they showed the relationship between Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill and how he was taking on things which were not accepted. And you hear all the older guys in the scouting room saying there's more to it than numbers. And any sports person who's really into sport will agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to say stats are facts, but there's nuance to the stats,
Yeah.
The common one being, oh, we dominated in football or soccer for our American listeners. Oh, we dominated the game. We had more possession. How many shots did you have on goal? You see?
Yeah.
Misleading stat.
Yeah.
So there's always nuance to the stats in sport. That's why sport is so wonderful. But this was like, no, fuck nuance. Stats. What do we need to get to first base? That's it. How do we build a team that gets me to first base? Oh, but he's an unattractive thrower. Oh, but he hasn't swung in ages. He gets to first base more than anyone in the league. And you can have him for next to no money.
Yeah, this is the thing.
And remember that this is how the Boston Red Sox then went and created a fucking dynasty.
Yeah, it's a really impressive story of how to win on a budget, if you would, get somewhere. Okay. The title of the film obviously shows that this team didn't win, but the dynamics are, as you said, it proved to be successful much later on. Like it's still used now in the game of baseball. So it's a great film.
Performances top to bottom. Like this was toying to be my number 2 and possibly my number 1 at some points. I think this is really a stellar fucking film.
I really need to take it in more. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I remember it. And when I get confused in a film, no matter how small, I'm like, I kind of switch off and I know I have to come back, and I just haven't had a chance to come back. And that's where Moneyball is. But yeah, no, I understand it. The great performances.
It really is. What is your number 2?
The punt from earlier, the one where you hurt me, because this was nearly my number 1. This one was nearly my number 1, man. Coach Carter. Flip, bro, man. 7.
6.
6. Oh, come on. Coach Carter, like this film. If there was ever a film that says you can punch the air, it's this film. And this is with a loss, man. Like a teacher who believes in the better of the students. Like a man who goes out there, yeah, you could be all-star players and you might act like you're NBA, but reality of life is not all of you will make it to the NBA. What is your backup plan? What is academia? You're going to skip school. Skip school, don't make my class. Shit grade, you don't make it to the team. And it's that care, that investment that I've always loved in a teacher. Now, for any younger screener listening who thinks that teacher who's asked you to come in during lunchtime, oh my God, if you hear this, I really this is a shout out to you, sir. Mr. Jennings, a maths teacher who saw the weakness in some of us and was like coming at lunch and we thought, what is this guy's problem? But just taking that time, that's his lunchtime as well. He's not getting paid for this, but taking that investment to see us do better. That is a teacher. That is someone who cares about the craft and the better of the future of this country, of the world. You're developing and investing in kids, and that's what Ken Carter done. Yes, it's a real life story, and I just there's this and there's Lean on Me, which
I haven't seen.
Morgan Freeman, very similar story. Quite interesting. It's not sport related. It's about a principal who comes back, and you just see the dedication they do and the challenges they come across when people actually want to shut them down because either for budgetary reasons or for the success of the team. But you don't give two shits about the students, and that's what Coach Carter done. And that victory at the end, followed by the Twister and Faith Evans hopeful at the end, like they lost, but you're still like, yes. Oh, love this one, top to bottom, so very close. My number one.
Do you know why it was so low for me? Because they didn't even get close. Like, the loss is a loss of epic proportions.
It was.
I don't mean they didn't get close in the match. I mean, no, they were one and done at round one. That's what was so hard.
Didn't they make it to like quarters or something?
Nope, round one. Out, bro. You say this every time I bring this up. You need to go back and rewatch it, and you'll be like, he done great for them as humans, but yeah, they didn't do so well. The story was cool, the way that he put school on lockdown, the way that he got them studying, like that side was amazing. Sporting-wise, they really didn't do so well. Round one. Bye.
I will have to revisit. I'm sure they won some bits. But anyway, they qualified. Yeah, I suppose they've done the qualifiers, but in the tournament
they qualified, obviously, but only just. And then when they were through, see ya.
Yeah, but hey, this is that's even more reason for it to be number one then, because this topic is where they lose, and it was an epic loss. But anyway, I digress.
Hard. My number. Oh, hey, sorry, I was mixing up posters. My number 2 is the punt from just now. Cool run-ins, man.
So we've put. Oh my God! This was your perfect chance to have seen my number one, and you haven't seen it.
Do you know I actually forgot about it? I completely forgot about it.
Okay,
we'll do Clint Eastwood one day.
That sounds good. Oh my God. Anyway, no, that just proves you didn't cheat, because I'm sure Twitter must have mentioned it.
No, funnily enough, not once.
Anyway, cool run-ins. We're feeling the river. We're feeling the grind. Anyway, it's bobsleigh time. Yes. I mean, awesome film. This is one of my early cinema experiences, man. This is what I remember from early.
What can we say about Cool Runnings that hasn't been said already? It is the absolute amazing story of a Jamaican bobsled team who have never seen ice before in their lives, who enlist the help of coach. Hey, coach! Enlist the help of a coach played by John Candy, R.I.P. to the great man, and he's ashamed. I wouldn't say failed. People call him a failed bobsledder. He cheated. I wouldn't call him failed though. He was good. Like, he was legit good. But he got busted cheating and was shamed out of the game. And retired to the island of Jamaica. They find him there and he agrees to coach them. And he takes them all the way to the Calgary Olympics. And while the first day or two are not great, they were competing for a podium spot on the final day.
Yeah, Yeah.
And fucking Tallulah let them down, man. Tallulah.
Yeah. It's one of those stories, that it's weird because because of the comedic. The one thing you said once, and it is so true, is there could have been a dramatized version to this. Cool Runnings is cool because they've made it a comedy, but the struggle that went. I suppose they did the Eagle, but not so much because he just shouldn't have been there. And as you said, there was no team. This one, the racism that was faced behind it and all of that, you take it so lightly because you've got the Swedish
Because
team.
of how it's presented.
Yeah, Jamaica, all of that. But the madness.
Careful of that first turn. Scary, huh?
Yeah.
But then you've got your brother who says we're different. People are always afraid of what's different. There's tones of it there. You can see it's there. But they could have doubled down on that. And
exactly. But it
could have had a Coach Carter tone to it.
Exactly that. And even when you see the accident when Tallulah let them down, my God, is that horrific. But the bravery and the determination to still finish, so much respect for that team. And again, Winter Olympics with dodgy coaches. But it's a beauty. And guys, again, if you are of a younger generation or it just somehow slipped you, it's on Disney Plus. Check it out.
And it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely great. Now, we're at worst. You've punted twice, and I'm hoping that you haven't really offended people. I'm hoping you're where are we? Yeah, anyway. I will go for my worst, which was a punt from earlier. And this is by proxy, honestly, because I wouldn't say it's crap. It is Bring It On. And bro, do you know what it is?
That you put that there.
It was honestly by proxy. I nearly admitted, even at the last minute, I nearly admitted again. And I was like, I didn't have a worst. It just, to me, when I watched this film, it was like it's Clueless, but it wasn't. That's kind of the way I always feel about it. They've put Clueless and Cheerleader, which is fun, but it just felt copied. And then it was like the interesting spin at the end. I'm like, they lost. So that even makes it even more interesting. So that's why I'm like, I was really like, I don't want to have a worse. And then I was like, maybe I could even swap. There's a part of me that even feels, do I want to swap Tin Cup and Bring It On? But I don't know. It is what it is. It's a decent movie. It's fun. It's cheesy. If you've seen Clueless, it's cheerleaders do Clueless, but they lose.
I think you're harsh on this. I think you're really, really, really harsh on this.
It's been a lifetime since I watched this film.
It's almost against the grain as a toxic male to be like, oh, I'm going to watch a female cheerleader movie. But it's so much more to it than that. How many movies accurately represent female teenagers that aren't fucking hack and slash horror movies?
I get that.
I feel like this is a representation in sport that we don't often get. That reason alone, I really think it should be celebrated, especially now. If they did a remake to this, fucking Brie Larson would be all over producing this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it showed me a side of cheerleading that I wasn't aware of. I thought it was be aggressive, be aggressive. Give me an A, give me a U. But I don't know where I'm going with that. But I thought that was it. And it's like, oh no, these are like legitimate fucking gymnasts. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that there's a lot of respect for a actual cheerleader. Like they go all out, man.
It's amazing what they do. Like, it's really, really amazing the level they go to with fucking cold. I'm sorry. It's amazing the level they go to with the gymnastics, and the fact that they build a rivalry out of a rival gymnastics teams is like, I didn't know this was a thing, but I like it. I really like it.
Yeah. I would have to say it again. As I said, the way I put it in that small tin is what I remember. And I mean, I still Bring It On when it first came out, and I've not gone back.
Bro, I saw it when it first came out, and I've always gone back. I've always really, I don't know why, but I've always wanted this movie.
Why not? Listen.
And you know what he gave us? Spirit fingers. We got spirit fingers. Spirit fingers came from this movie.
What'd you call it?
Give me spirit fingers.
Do you know what? I call it jazz hands. I'm from Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, my worst was your number 7, and it kind of again by proxy, but I'm gonna go with Kingpin here.
Do you know what? I actually felt quite generous to give it a 7 because you know, to me, Kingpin. This is because this is muscle memory, and I remember having a laugh at it. But in later dates, and I've still stuck to it, Woody Harrelson is like an Idris Elba to me. Fantastic TV star, but his films just don't seem to bang for me. Okay, we've got Natural Born Killers, but short of that, I just don't feel like he's hit the mark. But I do remember having a great laugh with this film, and that's all I remember. Do you know the one thing that always sticks into my head? Fresh cow's milk. We don't have a cow.
No.
You don't remember that?
Don't remember it.
Okay. Basically, he milked the bull. So you can imagine what he was drinking. But we won't get into it.
I think this movie is edging into Will Ferrell levels of stupidity for me. Like, I forgive it because the cast in it are good. You've got your Woody Harrelsons, you've got your Bill Murrays. Like, there's a relatively good cast in it. But it just never worked for me. I'm like, it's not just because it's bowling, which I find monumentally fucking boring. Unless bowling's one of those things where when you're playing it, you're having a laugh, kind of like golf. But I'd never watch it.
Okay, I thought you was gonna shit on playing bowling. I was gonna come to the defense. Yeah, watching it. I don't think I could actually watch a bowling tournament, but I love playing
it. It just wasn't for me, man. The comedy never worked for me.
I just remember having a laugh. I remember having a huge laugh as a kid. I have not gone back to Kingpin. I don't think I even want to go back to Kingpin, but I remember having a great laugh with Kingpin, and that's what put it where it was. Fair play. Okay. Right, in at number 1. I was torn between making this 1 or 2, you know, because it was the cheering or the heartbreak, and I had to go with the heartbreak of a last. I am talking $1 Million Baby. Hilary Swank's Oscar-winning performance in $1 Million Baby. Absolute heartbreaker of a movie. We're not just talking loss, we're talking epic loss in this match. Yeah, like she has to. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck what? You fucked up something.
So something should hit me.
Yes. She wins.
I'm just thinking, because of what happens, morally she loses, but that person probably lost she probably won by DQ.
It's your movie, man. You need to argue it the way you want. I haven't even seen the movie, and I could argue my way out of this, frankly.
Come again?
I haven't even seen this film, and I could argue my way out of it.
But I mean, she dies. The dream doesn't continue, so that is the epic loss that I'm talking about. Like, there is no, I mean, screw it. It's not a spoiler, but that would be my thing behind it. Yes, maybe she ends up on top in the match, but in life, like, that whole dream is cut short, and survival leads to death, which is the ultimate heartbreak of, like, what could have been. It's there. I've just realized that
morally they won in Cool Runnings. They still lost.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they lost. She actually won the match, if I remember rightly. I've just drawn a blank there. But no, absolute stellar performances in this match, in this film. I was going to say this match, and the biggest heartbreak of all time behind it. So, yeah, I'm very edgy now on this. But hey,
I could add more. I really need to see this film. This is like $1 Million Baby is to me what Edge of Tomorrow was for you.
yeah. You know, yeah. I've just had this, and you know what's in my head now? As much as I keep on going, yeah, I'm like, Chris is going to kill me because Chris is going to confirm that. Yeah, not Chris. Andy is going to be like, no, yeah, she won the match, but she died. So yeah, sorry, AJ. Yeah, thank you. So I can see it coming. I can see it coming. Yeah.
Don't fuck with Andy Hart, mate. He knows his shit.
Yeah. Do you know
I
what?
feel like we need to make
It's
like
weird.
John
'Cause I'm
Cena-
actually just reading this now to be sure. They don't act. It's a no contest. So yeah, it's a no contest. She gets. There was a sucker punch. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no contest, which means she didn't exactly win either, because the match ends due to her injury. I'm going with that, and I'll stick with it. I know it won't be a Rushmore because that just won't happen. But yeah, that's the one. But no, please do watch this film sooner than later. Absolutely amazing film.
I feel like we need to, with Andy Hart, whenever he like comes on, he needs to come on to like. Do you remember that John Cena song "Bad Bad Man"?
Yeah.
Your boy's a bad man, and we invading the streets. Make all them clap a rapper skirt. They be dropping the heat. You can just play Andy Hart onto that.
Do you know,
And don't fuck with Fandango. I'm a bad, bad man.
bro? There's that. But do you know what? I also feel like he is, and this is with love, Andy. Please, this is with love, so don't take it as an offense. He's like silver screen VAR. Like, if we're not sure, he will confirm.
Really. And he'll get that.
Yeah, like, sorry, you got that wrong. But yeah, so that was my number one, and over to you.
VAR, I love that. Andy, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know. Let me know if you approve.
I would love if Fandango Groover actually becomes silver screen VAR. That's the new
SST VAR. Yeah.
Okay.
He has hinted at wanting to do be a host for us when we finally get around to doing top 10 James Bond movies, which will coincide with the release of No Time to Die.
Yeah.
I said, you want to host for us, Andy? You want to host?
Hey. Sounds cool. It sounds cool. It sounds like it needs to happen sooner than later. Well, with the release, that sounds like a good one. We pen it in, people. Lock it in. We'll finally be in collusion with a great individual, a fantastic follower, as are many of you. But yeah,
dude, my number one, it's the obvious pick. It's the pick that got picked more than anything on Twitter. It's Rocky, man. It was always going to be Rocky.
Listen, Rocky is all kinds of awesome. Coach Carter just touches me in a way, and $1 Million Babies.
Where did he touch you, AJ? Point to the place where Coach Carter touched you.
Here, in the heart. No, Rocky is all. To be fair, and this is the God's honest truth, Rocky was like my instant go-to number one. It just felt so obvious and natural.
It has to be. It has to be. So much so that I'm almost tempted to make the Rushmore top 10 sports movies where the heroes lose, excluding Rocky. That's how much it got brought up. It was ridiculous. It's the fucking story of Rocky Balboa. His first match, he's literally just a slugger kind of bar fighter type brawler. You know, he does these cheap boxing matches to make ends meet. He lives in a crummy apartment. He's by no stretch of the imagination even close to being a boxing superstar and has never dreamed of being a boxing superstar. It's not ever entered his frame. You know, he aspires to be that, but he knows he knows his role. He stays in his lane. He deals with the local mafia as kind of, you know, their hard man. Mm-hmm. He's not one of life's good people, you would say, because of the fact that he associates himself with those types of people. But, you know, make ends meet. You know, and it's a very, very believable story of how he not only develops, you know, it's a believable story as far as Adrian is concerned. So, you know, that relationship they have, which is a very slow burn, and I think it's a beautiful slow burn. I mean, the whole thing of, you know, oh, by chance, Apollo Creed comes into town and he's going to pick some random guy. I mean, that's the reach of reaches. But you know what? You buy into it. And the fucking movie does get you believing. Even when you've seen the ending and you've seen the movie a million times, you still have this belief like, maybe he'll win. It's like, nope.
Well, there is also that question of the freeze frame at the end. Did he win in the end?
It's the Eye of the Tiger. Is it possible to hear Survivor's Eye of the Tiger and not think of Rocky?
No.
It's not, is it?
It's physically not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible.
You need the eye of the tiger, Rocky. I top to bottom, I love that movie, and it's got one of the most memorable final answers. Adrian.
Yeah. You can't. You get no one. I have a. No, I mean, I do know Adrian more as a male name anyway, but I have a male cousin called Adrian, and every now and again, you can't help but just give him an Adrian, just to call him. Because, why not? Like, why not? Why not, man? Yeah.
You watch Rocky, and then you will literally walk around the house for a few days afterwards. Go, Adrian.
There's that, and let's be honest, right? Can you, like, for me, can you go to Westfield in Shepherd's Bush, see them stairs, and not think I'm going to Rocky him? Like, you have to run up. Any set of stairs is Rocky. Like, it's freaking huge, man.
It just is. It's just real. All right, cool. That's our top 10s. Let's Rushmore this bitch.
Right. So I have to be honest. I had to Google this, and I don't know if you choose the Cinemaholic. As you already know, and as Maggie's terrible mother asserts, she does not beat the blue bear. The blue bear beats her unethical tactics, and Maggie loses the fight and her shot at the $1 million title. I am so torn with this because I know she loses, and because of that small tangent, I'm not going to fight for it because technically, I still believe there would have been a disqualification if you sucker punch someone and they land on a stool and break their neck. It's a no contest. They didn't actually go and say, "Oh, by the way, yeah, for paralyzing the opponent, you've won."
I'd invite you to go look at one of Mayweather's earlier fights when he fought a guy called Ortiz. Straight up sucker punched him, and that's what won him the fight. It was like, well, you should have lost that one. Bro, I'll be real with you. I think it would get eviscerated on Twitter.
$1 million baby.
It didn't come up once. When I put the question out, it didn't come up once. Rocky came up too much.
So screw Rocky. I know Rocky's out. This is it.
I think Moneyball should be in there.
So, I mean, it could be. I'm now looking, and I'm now guessing because we're going to do excluding Rocky.
Coach Carter.
I'll be looking at Cool Runnings, Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie only got brought up once. Eddie got brought up once. I was.
Yeah, what else are we going to really push for in this? I want Coach Carter. I don't care where it comes.
Yeah. I just said I'm all for Coach Carter being in there.
So, here we go. Sorry, this is always the fun part.
Do you know, mate? A League of Their Own got brought up a lot.
I'm down. As I said, again, it's one of those films where I kind of blanked. Like, it's been a while since I've seen it, so
I'm also semi-tempted to veto Cool Runnings because it got brought up so fucking much.
But then we are in a territory of what then goes in. Do we go for Eddie, who was brought up once? Do we then go for $1 Million Baby that people might be like, "Oh fuck, okay. I forgot."
Fuck it, let's leave Cool Runnings and Rocky in there. Let them fight
at the expense of A League of Their Own. Because either that or Moneyball.
It's League of Their Own or Moneyball, isn't it?
You know how much Moneyball got brought up.
It got brought up a fair bit.
So did the League of Their Own. This is what I'm saying. You would know which one.
Let's go Moneyball.
Okay. Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official Movie Mount Rushmore of sports movies where the heroes lose in no particular order is
Rocky.
Our second entry is
Cool Runnings.
Our third entry is
Coach Carter.
Our final entry into the Movie Mount Rushmore of sports movies where the heroes lose is...
$1 million bet. No, I'm joking. Moneyball. I still can't believe the whole world forgot this film. Anyway, there's a technicality behind it. Okay, guys. So we have Coach Carter, Cool Runnings, Rocky, and Moneyball. Those are the 4 movies that we, the screeners, have deemed to be the 4 must-see movies of sporting movies where the heroes lose. However, the challenge is now over to you because, to quote Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. And who decides that? You, the screeners. All you have to do is head on over to We Love Movies at Movie Polls for You. Good old JT will be posting up a poll with those 4 movies. We, the Silver Screen Dudes, aka at Movie MT Rushmore, will retweet that. So there is only one vote. And once you cast your vote, you will be able to decide or contribute to who will be crowned the best sporting loser. So they may have lost in film, but they will win in the hearts of the screeners. So once again, your contenders are Coach Carter, Cool Runnings, Rocky, and Moneyball. Last week, our topic was
the best movie set in Italia.
And our contenders were
La Dolce Vita, the Italian Job, the original Italian Job, La Vita è Bella, and Gladiator. We had 327 votes. A few comments as always. Andy Hart at Fandango Groover. The Italian Job is great, but no competition. It has to be La Dolce Vita. Life is Beautiful and Gladiator aren't actually that great on rewatch. I object to this statement.
VAR has spoken.
VAR. VAR I have beef with sometimes. This is one of them.
Yeah.
Dennis Cook at Den the Tech. That's our boy from the Ministry of Wrestling. The winner can only be Gladiator, simply because I saw real fear in the eyes of an actor for the first time on film from Joaquin Phoenix when he found out Maximus was the Gladiator. KMSTX78 put La Dolce Vita out of that group. Mix at I Love 80s put me when La Dolce Vita loses this poll and just shared someone going. So Kerry James Woodlock put a stunning performance by Russell Crowe and supported by a top cast. So I'm assuming that's Gladiator. David Bazzi Basnet shared a gif of the minis driving around Turin. So that's the Italian Job. Hawkins98 asked, is the Italian Job the original or remake? And I answered, most definitely the original. So I'm assuming they voted for the Italian Job. For Your Eyes Only, Ben Payton 007. But this film is just wonderful and shared the scene of the hat going up and down from Life is Beautiful. Lou at Heavenly Blue 007 put, I cannot pick any other film and shared a gift from La Dolce Vita. Chris Trengrove.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this one.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Nice mix. Well done.
This is more than VAR. This is like that one school teacher that hates you who gives you the 10 out of 10, and you're like, what? I done it.
I then shared a gif of Steve Carell from The Office going, thank you. To which he said, I'm going to watch La Dolce Vita today, then I'll vote in the poll. I do have an unbiased love, a bashed love for Gladiator. Paul Sekulic could... no, I won't read that because it'll give the poll away. Okay, over to you.
No, please read it.
No.
Please read it.
Well, if you insist.
Okay.
No.
This is tight as fuck this week. This is
and what's weird,
Mm.
it's not in the poll. That's what's fucked up.
Okay.
The comments are once again contrary to the fucking numbers.
I'm going to go Italian Job at number 4.
No.
Gladiator.
No.
La Dolce Vita.
No.
No!
La Vita è Bella got 7%. The only thing I can put it down to, and now I will read Paul Sekulich's comment, is he put, could it be that people aren't voting for La Vita è Bella because they know it by the English translation, Life is Beautiful? And JT actually came back and said, I think you're spot on. I only know it as Life is Beautiful. Chris Trengrove, of course, then had to chirp in. I don't love Life is Beautiful. I recognize it. He is like a grumpy teacher, isn't he?
Oh, Chris. Okay.
Gonna love him. So that La Vita è Bella, Life is Beautiful is number 4. Number 3?
Screw it, Gladiator.
No.
La Dolce Vita?
Correct. La Dolce Vita only got 20% of the vote.
Do you know what I think is actually a killer with this? I mean, there's a part of me. I mean, the next two are two powerhouses of movies.
La Dolce Vita is a fucking powerhouse.
No.
Listen, any illusions.
Bear with me with this. And I'm not undermining the screeners by any means, but we are in a point where the Italian-based, the Italian-speaking films are there. It's a matter of range of how much these have been indulged by people. That I question, especially when you're telling me stuff like 20%, like they could be mega tight. Do you get where I'm going with this now? Yeah. Right. Oh, screw it. Gladiator's in at number 2.
Nope. Complete whitewash for you this week, my friend. In at number 2 is The Italian Job with 31%. Gladiator destroyed it, mate. 42%.
Congratulations. I mean, look. Yeah, you get it. I mean, I get it. Congratulations, Gladiator. I'm not going to sit there with any of these films and be like, no, that was shit. How dare you people go wrong? I might be a bit offended this week with Coach Carter, but
are you not entertained?
I mean, I get it. All films have kept me entertained. Well, I still need to see La Dolce Vita, but yeah.
Please do. It's on Amazon Prime. Get it.
No, I remember you saying that. The schedule's not as free as it previously was, but hey, that's another story. But yeah, okay, guys. Well, congratulations to Gladiator as the greatest film set in Italy, and we shall see what happens next week, guys. Until the next time, please do check out www.silverscreendudes.com. I'm not going to really put the socials out apart from at Movie MT Rushmore because that's where we really do need your vote. Yeah, guys, just check out. There's a lot of stuff in the pipe works. There will be a wrestling podcast. It didn't even happen yesterday because time just wouldn't permit it. It's tight, but we're there, guys. And yes, you were looking for gaming. It's tight, but bear with us. www.silverscreendudes.com. We're coming back strong. So
I have invested in a PS5 camera now, so the gaming is definitely coming. Nice. I'd also just like to say there will be no Movie Mount Rushmore podcast next week because I am going to Croatia tomorrow.
Hey, nice. The funny thing about that is you were meant to go to Croatia for your stag, but hey, you went to Croatia after your marriage. It happens.
I thought I was meant to go to the Czech Republic for my stag.
Don't spoil my joke. I was toyed between the two. There was one point. No, I'm actually not shitting you. There was a point where I even looked at possibly seeing a train that would take us from one to the other. Like there was mad plans going on at one point, man. You're dead. We haven't said the C word, so I won't say it. But hey, it changed everything.
Global bastard.
Yeah. We've done a whole episode about it, so we shall celebrate that. Guys, until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. We'll be back with a vengeance. I am Nico Lurot.
See ya.
See ya.